Welcome back to Talk of the Town on 99.7, 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town for this Monday, December 27th. I'm Gary Stevens. It is the fourth Monday of the month, which means during this time, we catch up with what is going on in Lansing with one of the men that represent the Lakeshore in the State House. He is second-term Republican Representative Brad Slagh. He's on the other end of our Zoom connection this morning. Brad, good morning. And as they say, go ahead and unmute yourself, and good morning.
Sorry about that.
That's
good morning to you, Gary.
We got you. Just wanted to make sure everything was A-okay.
Yeah, and I try and make sure that mute stays on as long as possible because I sound better when I'm on mute normally.
Now, wait a minute. This is an audio thing. You know, granted, we're doing the Zoom here, but that's not till later. But anyway, if you got a question for Brad Slagh, he'll be happy to take it at 616-395-1450, 616-395-1450. Let me begin, first of all, with a question I've been asking our elected officials. It was posed by one of our social media influencers earlier this month. And it basically goes, it was actually intended for U.S. House Representative Bill Huizenga, but I've expanded it to include all of our elected leaders. The influencer wanted Mr. Huizenga to endorse getting vaccinated for COVID-19 to ease some of the pressure that is on area medical centers, hospitals, emergency rooms, and the like, saying that these recommendations would help in getting people vaccinated. I've been asking our local elected leaders to comment on that. And so I'm going to pose that to you, Brad Slagh. Would you urge your constituents to get vaccinated for COVID-19, if not for their own safety, but also for the safety of others, and maybe alleviate some of the problems that we've had with a lot of people coming to the emergency rooms because of COVID-19 cases?
Yeah. Gary, my take is it's still the responsibility of each person to make that kind of decision about their own health choices, about how they feel they can best protect themselves and others. I understand why there's a push to have everybody vaccinated. Interestingly, there's still, the spread still happens even with people who are vaccinated. So that's not really stopping that. It's only stopping potentially the real major symptoms, and those symptoms can be halted through other things like ivermectin, other kinds of tools that we have to be able to do that as well.
All right. If you got a question for State Representative Brad Slagh, he'll be happy to take it at 616-395-1450, 616-395-1450. Let's use today's appearance by Representative Slagh to take a look back at 2021 in Michigan. What things did you like from state government in our over the past year, and what things maybe need to be addressed in 2022 if it can be an election year that weren't addressed in 2021?
Let's see. Probably one of the things that we've discovered in this year that's passed is that our choice for how we redistrict areas has really struggled with trying to move things forward. And so I'm not sure that we did a very good job in the past when we set up how was this panel going to work. Setting it up so that we had the all of the best things in place. So could we wish to have done that maybe in a little different way? I'm not arguing with the outcomes they're coming to. It's just how has that process worked and the big picture for it. I think one of the positive things is we've moved business forward, opened up things, got dollars to people. so from that perspective, that's been good. One of the other concerns we've got is the unemployment agency having given away lots of dollars that weren't supposed to go to folks. So maybe there's a place for people to start. And looks like the lights are flashing. So maybe there's people to talk to us.
616-395-1450. Good morning. You're on the line with State Representative Brad Slagh.
Yes, you were talking about other treatments that are possible to give people who have actual illness from the COVID disease.
Yep.
Now, Ron DeSantis in Florida has set up stations where people that get sick with COVID can go and get a treatment, and that's been working there. Why can't this be done in other places? Is it political or what is happening?
Great question. At this point in time, it is, let's see, it's a health department issue that they've decided not to set up those kind of things in the state of Michigan, where they've been set up in the state of Florida and other places in the world. So as it is a department of the governor, really, the governor leads that department, gives direction to that department. I would assume that it is somewhat of a political answer.
Okay. And then another thing, these COVID tests that everybody keeps taking and sticking up their nose, those are made in China, right? Or no?
I do not know where they were made, so I can't help you with that.
I can't answer. Yeah, I can't answer that either.
Well, and so I was wondering if this virus originated in China, why do we trust the Chinese to give us these tests where everybody's turning up positive?
Yeah, again, Brad, and I appreciate the call. Thank you, caller, because I need to get to another line. That's a question I think is maybe more for federal question, more than a state question as well.
All right, thank you. I don't have a better answer than that. I don't know whether they're being produced by China, and therefore I can't really give you a solid answer to your question.
616-395-1450. Good morning. You're on the line with State Representative Brad Slagh.
Yeah, good morning. Brad, the Michigan State government has received a lot of federal dollars, and there's been some feelings about how to spend it, as I read it in the newspaper. How come nobody's talking about reducing the state income tax with the extra money you got? And I'll hang up and I'll listen. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the call.
Great question. The real answer is that as the federal government has given us the dollars, one of the things that they've said can't happen is that you reduce the state taxes to be able to use those dollars for state business. It's designed to be used for things like fighting the COVID deal. It's made for doing some infrastructure projects, that kind of thing. So there are a ton of plans for how to spend it. You're right, John, that's true out there. And I'm really interested over the next few months to see, because I sit on the Appropriations Committee for the House, I'm interested to see what of those plans are available and how we can do that. My main concern, if we're going to spend these federal dollars, is what do we have to use for state dollars to match it, to be able, because oftentimes it requires some state expenditure to match and use the federal dollars. And then what programs are there that we're going to be using it for that are not ongoing programs that require ongoing costs. So if we're going to repair bridges and dams and those kinds of things, that's where I think we should be spending the money, not on creating new programs that hire new people.
Now, the thing is, though, and I'll use the Hillsdale College. I call it the Hillsdale College argument. Hillsdale College does not accept any federal money at all because they don't want to have the strings that are attached to that as well. And maybe that's the case. Yes, the money might be coming from Washington, but it always comes with strings attached.
For sure.
616-395-1450. If you have a question for State Representative Brad Slagh, he'll take it at 616-395-1450. Since the last time we chatted, Brad, plan to make the Secretary of State's office more accountable to the people of Michigan. You authored it, and the State House approved it. Tell us a little bit about this plan.
Yeah, so one of the things that happens when we turn in a petition, the whole petition drive thing that we've got in Michigan that allows for citizens to create a petition, run it, get enough signatures, and be certified by the Secretary of State. In that process, once they're turned in, you hear really nothing from the Secretary of State's office until they actually get all of the stuff approved. The bill that I wrote, authored, simply says once you get a petition in, you need to record it on the website, maintain the website every 30 days-ish to be able to have an update on where it is in the process. Is it being collecting signatures? Is it out being certified? And that gives us an idea of how long it's taking to actually certify the petition once the signatures are collected.
How much of this is dealing with the issue about the petitions that have been filed by Unlock Michigan to try to maybe go against what the Whitmer administration would want? And of course, the current Secretary of State is a Democrat. Maybe not what the Secretary of State actually wants. It's sort of like, well, out of sight, out of mind. But sometimes you got to put in public maybe things you don't technically agree with, but for transparency, you need to do that.
Right. And I think that's exactly what it is, Gary. In fact, it's been interesting. Right now, there's no opposition that I know of to the bill. So it appears that people think, yeah, that really does make sense. It would have been good to know this information for the recent petition that we had that approved marijuana for recreational use and other kinds of things. It's not just petitions that we're seeing for Unlock Michigan. The Unlock Michigan one probably for me cemented that we need to have more transparency. So that was really the push for me to say we need the transparency, but it's not that it wasn't needed for other things as well. I'm
going to just give you a headline, and I don't have the full story on this, but now, and let me just get it straightened up here from MERS News. I'm just going to read the headline and then get your thoughts on this. After once feeling barred from legislative negotiations earlier this year, Governor Gretchen Whitmer explained she's now sitting at the table with the legislature's Republican leadership to fuel nonpartisan projects. But according to MERS, the unity may be fleeting. A, is the governor sitting, as you are part of the Appropriations Committee, is the administration sitting with the Republican leadership in the legislature? And B, is there a sense of unity and is it fleeting?
Wow. Okay. So let me start with a disclaimer. It's always good when you're in the political world to start with a disclaimer. And the disclaimer is I don't sit on any of those leadership teams that enable me to tell you whether that's really happening or not. But on the flip side of that, I have heard that we are, when we're doing appropriation kind of work right now, so looking at where the ARPA dollar is going to go and how are we going to be able to make this work, there is somebody from the administration's staff sitting in on those meetings right now at the high level. So I believe that they are, in an ongoing basis, engaged with the governor and the Republican leadership to try and move things forward, specifically in the nonpartisan area. That is exactly true. The spending of those ARPA dollars is in much need of trying to figure out where we're going to go and how are we going to do it. And there is somebody sitting on that group from her team.
All right, 616-395-1450. Just want to, what MERS says, a lot of times we have to take with a grain of salt, but other times, they're somewhat on the button here. Yep. A topic that frankly is out of your hands now, you're being House's hands. The Senate has this now in front of House Bill 4722, Short-term rental question. It has cleared the House. It is now before the state Senate. And there have been some hue and cries from local leaders, the Michigan Restaurant and Lodging Association against it as well. Where do you stand on this particular issue of trying to deal with short-term rentals? Some say we need uniformity statewide. Others say this takes, basically, it's a case of state control versus local control, and it takes local control out of the hands in this particular matter.
Yeah, it is a really tough question. No matter how you slice and dice it, it is problematic. The results are problematic. For me, one of the pieces that I looked at is local control is something that's been important to me. Having cut my teeth in the political world at the township level, being able to do zoning at a local level, I think, is a really important picture. But along with that, if local control is important, the most local control that you can get is my private property rights. So if I'm a property owner, do I have rights to be able to do something with my property? If you say the answer is no, you don't have rights to do that because only the government can allow you to rent it short term, as an example, then do you really have local control at the most local level, or is it at the township level? And what's the difference between that and then it's the state saying, no, you can't do it in a different way? So obviously, you can work yourself in circles with that kind of a thought process. For me, I know that I stepped on some toes, and I actually voted for the plan that came out of the House. I believe that there is still opportunities for it to be changed and tweaked. And so the Senate has got that in their hands, and I'm sure that they're working on it, maybe even as we speak this morning.
It'll be interesting to see how this particular matter comes about, how much pressure will be placed on the senators by some special, it's called special interest groups, better known as lobbyists, but hey. And of course, some say, and I'm of the opinion that, with the advent of the term limits matter, we do have more influence by these special interest groups. We're out of time, unfortunately, of this particular segment. If you want to get a hold of Brad Slagh, call his office, 517-373-0830, 517-373-0830. Brad Slagh, as always, appreciate the time and wish you and your family not only a blessed Christmas, but also a good start of the new year. And we look forward to chatting with you again next month, sir.
And Gary, I appreciate the time with you and with your community. And so thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Brad Slagh, 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.